market update where we take a look at markets such as Euro dollar, Bitcoin, crude oil, DAX. Good. So we're gonna do that over the next pretty much next 600 seconds, so pretty much 10 minutes. We're also gonna take a look at the economic calendar if there's anything interesting happening today. Don't forget to check out what's going on as well here on the homepage. If you're watching this on Periscope or on Twitter, then this is the Trade Captain homepage, which is a website for financial news and trading. As an example, we just have some two quick updates here on the Swiss National Bank, which kept its key rate unchanged, and a little preview here of what may happen with the dollar Norwegian kroner, as the Central Bank of Norway is also about to have a, um rate meeting. Okay, before we start, as always, don't forget that trading financial markets is unfortunately risky, and there's a genuine risk that we'll lose all of our invested money. Down here on the homepage, you have a link to the risk disclosure statement. Don't forget to read that. Okay, uh, not too much action in the euro versus the dollar. And right now, for every euro, you get $1.23 and 62 pips. And the market is trading sideways between 122.64 and 124.48. And it should be quite straightforward. If we could take out the high, the market may head a little bit higher, maybe 125, maybe 125.50. Whereas if we take out the low here, the market might go down to pretty much 122. But we probably shouldn't get too excited here. Uh, if we have a break, then the reason for that is you can see that the market is trapped really within a wider range, which is 121.54 and 125.57. So it could be that it breaks the upside and then quickly pulls back down to the old range within the same day. And same way, if we go below here, I do think that we might go down slightly, but I think a lot of people are gonna be very interested to buy down here. Now, why do I think they're gonna be interested to buy down around 122? Well, because the overall market is bullish, which means that the overall trend is upwards. And as soon as we start to come back down to support levels, people want to buy, targeting the highs. So for now, we just trapped within these two ranges. Break the downside, we might go down a bit. Break the upside, we might rally slightly. Here's the price of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin remains in a bearish downtrend. Obviously, the market managed to bounce today from this support level that we've been highlighting. So you might remember we turned bearish up here, and we said that as long as the price is creating lower and lower highs, this would continue to move to the downside. So since we turned bearish, the market has declined with about 28%, which is a significant deal. Uh, Unless, of course, you're trading with very small accounts. But 28%, I mean, it's a horror year on the stock markets, to give you something to compare with. Today, the technical trend remains bearish below this high. And yesterday we insisted and said as long as it's below this level, this market can go down. It did push lower yesterday. Reason for that happening is because Google decided to ban crypto adverts, ICO adverts, literally anything related to crypto. And the implication of this is, of course, that all these altcoins, all these small ICOs, and people raising money now are not going to be able to use Google to get their message to people. Um, I think even in Facebook already they have some sort of blocks for cryptos. So things are starting narrowing down further and further. Obviously, YouTube still big on cryptos. Maybe they'll crack down there as well. Maybe, I'm not sure. Twitter, if you're post a lot on cryptos, you can sometimes be shadow banned, which means that you can post, but people can't necessarily reply to you. I mean, they can reply to you, but you won't actually see that they're replied to you. So things are, again, the world is becoming much more difficult for people trading cryptos or investing in cryptos. And this is obviously, people buy cryptos because they think 10 years in the future we'll use them, because obviously today nobody uses Bitcoin to buy a pizza, uh, to give you an example, right? So we need that, the market needs that constant influx of new money to be able to rally higher. Anyhow, market moved down, capped by this high. This is a profit target or profit taking sort of bounce where the market could relatively easy, if we just take a Fibonacci from this high to this low, maybe bounce up to something like 87, 97, so say a 50% correction or so. But most likely up here, traders will continue to sell and the market will probably just revert back to the lows uh, and maybe even take out this low and go lower. Bitcoin is the coin that hasn't taken out its February low, but there are a ton of other coins that have done so already. So the market is bearish, even if we like it or not, and most likely goes up, goes lower. The alternative is that it takes out this high, goes up a bit, goes down, and then trades up. Here's the price of crude oil. Should hopefully have a very good setup here in the next few days. The longer something consolidates, the better does the breakout usually, or the breakout following a consolidation tends to be quite good. And you can clearly see here how things are narrowing down. You can draw this line here from November 15th through February 14th low. Then you have this high up here, which is January 25th, goes through February 26th. Bullish on a break to this level here. I think at that point we probably will see something like this. On the other hand, take out this low down here and probably move down to this level down here, and then we'll see. Take this level out and things become really interesting. At that point, the market could potentially go down to 55.79. Now, something you need to be fully aware of is that we take out this low and we really want price to move lower to 59 relatively quickly. If it just goes a little bit lower and then doesn't really want to trade lower, then you could easily bounce back up just because you have this other low down here, which is really important for the market. Here's the price of gold. So a few days ago we said, look to buy down here. In fact, we said already before that, look to buy here for this to go up. That played out fine. Then the market went down again. It said look to buy here again if you would like to do that. A bit like the euro, the market is creating higher lows in the long run. And as long as you're above 1302, this market is bullish, can go down a bit, but then again up. There are issues with it, and the biggest problem with this is that it's trading in a range, and it's usually definitely possible to trade, but in my case, I usually make my money when the market is trending. You just buy and it goes up. A little bit like Bitcoin last year. Here's the DAX 30, and the DAX 30, so we were bearish from down here. Market moved against us to our favor, then moved against us for several days. Then we pretty much went back to the entry, said you can get rid of that if you want to. Take out the high. Sorry, we can get rid of that and then get involved maybe a slightly better level. The market has risen slightly, and I'm not a biggest fan to sell this market. In fact, I'm looking to buy stock markets in general. You might say, well, what does the German stock market has to do with the US stock market? Well, everything is highly integrated and correlated today. Obviously, at certain occasions like here, you won't see that, but in general, the markets are correlated. When things are going good in the US, things are going usually good in Europe and vice versa. And at the end of the day, the companies here that make up the DAX 30 don't just cater for Germany, of course, they cater for the whole world. So you have the Nasdaq, which I published an update on, which pulled back. You have the S&P, you even have the Russell 2000, but the Nasdaq is probably the market I would like to buy. Just looking for a steeper pullback. So I think stock markets in general will go up, and it wouldn't surprise me if we take out this high. Now, that's my opinion, and again, my preference to trade those US stock markets. But if we're specifically looking at the DAX and just sticking to the technical rules, which is really important, then the trend remains bearish below this level, and the market may roll over here. And until we take out that level, then just what I said, it doesn't actually matter if you're trading the DAX. Obviously, it does matter to some extent. German DAX is not going to do whatever it wants. It's going to link back to all the other stock markets at one point anyway. So what's going to be right here? The thing is this, we don't know. What we do know though is that here the risk reward ratio is relatively good. If we sold here at the 12,220, we risk 2.26%, and if it goes back to the low, we make 4%. And that's a good risk reward ratio because you're looking to make much more when you win versus your losses, and that's really important if you want to be profitable. And yeah, to be profitable in essence, that's just key. End of discussion. Um, so there's nothing wrong with the setup, but obviously it's moving up, and my gut feeling tells me it could be stopped out. But again, better just to stick to the rules than trying to do whatever our gut tells us to do. Okay, so this is the German DAX, and that's all of the main markets. Let's just quickly take a look at the economic calendar. So, biggest news today, Swiss National Bank leaves the interest unchanged at negative 1.75. Any news coming up today? Jobless claims 3 hours and 20 minutes from now. Philadelphia Fed manufacturing survey. And I think that's pretty much it. There's more stuff coming up in the evening, but there's no point, waiting for this sort of data. Jobless claims straightforward, bit of a mover. Lower numbers indicate that less people are applying for that they're out of a job and that they need support and help. So lower numbers is good. It tends to create volatility also because US markets open at the same time. But again, it's not like they know from payrolls. Won't be able to say buy or sell here. Obviously, if the numbers are good, the market goes up with 20 pip or goes down with 20 pip. But I don't think you're gonna see the euro dollar break either this level or this level. Okay, guys, that concludes today's market update. Just so you know, we're supposed to do as well a client-only seminar or webinar today in 3 hours and 46 minutes from now, but unfortunately we need to cancel that. So I'm not unfortunately hold up with some personal things outside. So I can't really deal with that. I can't really do that video today, but hopefully we'll be back next week for that. And that's it, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, YouTube. Don't forget to check out the technical analysis section. I post stuff there, updates, Ethereum. For an example, talked about levels we can target. We pretty much, I think, all went almost all the way down to the February low. We have EUR as well that publishes several setups and several ideas. You click on load more for more on that. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys most likely tomorrow at 9 a.m. If not, I'll see you guys later on this week. Have a good trading day. Thank you.